Well, I can tell you historically just a few facts that will be helpful to you in looking at how this story actually ends. Because we have evidence that Paul did go before Caesar, was tried, was heard, and was released. And he spent the next 3 years ministering in all kinds of places. He went to Crete. He left Titus there in Crete. He went to Ephesus, even though he said he didn't think he'd ever be back. He went back to Ephesus. And many people think he went to Spain and preached the gospel in Spain. But about 2 years later, in 67 AD, he was rearrested by the Romans in Rome. And he spent the next few months on death row in the Mamertine prison, which was a hellhole, in darkness in a dank dungeon. It was nothing like his rented house that he had previously. And we know historically that he writes these letters to, 2 Timothy is written there, and he basically is just saying, I don't have anybody. Everybody's left me. I'm cold, I'm alone, and I'm toward the end of my fight. This battle is almost won. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. And now awaiting me is this glorious presence of God. And it's waiting for us too. We're almost home. Historically, we're told that one early spring morning, he was led out to the out beyond the wall of Rome, and he knelt before the executioner, and the sword flashed in the morning sun, and his head was cut off, and he was martyred for Christ. And I think, in a sense, what a tragedy. But I think, what a glorious reunion, that in that split second, this is my mind's eye, what I envisioned. I just envision him being embraced by Christ, and Christ just not letting go for a while, This is just me, I don't know. Maybe that's what I want when I get to heaven. Maybe that's what we all want. But I envision the Apostle Paul just being this great man that just was hugging everybody else and supporting everyone else and serving everyone else. His entire Christian life was served by Christ in that moment. And Christ embraced him. And after a long time of just holding this man that had served and sacrificed and suffered and been wounded and been misunderstood and been harmed by so many people, even his own people, that Jesus said, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into your master's happiness. And all that had happened before, all that he'd been through seemed like nothing as he entered the presence of Christ. And that, my friends, is our destiny as we walk with Jesus. We're going to suffer in this life. We're going to have hardship. We're going to be falsely accused. We'll be misunderstood. God is our vindicator. God will vindicate you. God will see you through. God will honor you. God will bless you. God will allow you to be a gracious blessing to all those that are in your sphere of influence if you have a heart of service. But in the midst of the crisis, you have to make a choice, and I have to make a choice to follow the example of Jesus Christ and to follow the example of Paul and to follow the example of a host of saints that have gone before us, to serve and to love and to give and to sacrifice in the midst of our own crisis, that others might know, that others might be delivered, that others might hear, that others might hear those same words, well done, good and faithful servant. I know we can't do it ourselves. I have no capacity to live this life in my own strength, but God can do in us what we can't do ourselves. I'm asking you to cry out to God. I'm asking you to pray to Him and ask Him for strength in the midst of your crisis, to lift your eyes and to see the glory of your King, and to be available to serve, to give, to be kind, to love, to sacrifice, to show the truest expression of friendship of a laid down life. That's the calling, that's the privilege, that's the honor, and that's the mark of a follower of Jesus Christ. You are already doing it, and my only comment is excel still more, to the glory of God and to the impact of this island for the gospel of Jesus Christ.